introduce a new addition to the family. What I'm sitting on here, and many of you might know the shape of it, this is a Corvair. Corvairs, made by Chevy, came in well, more than two, but basically two different types known to most Corvair owners. There's the early type, which this is. Kind of reminds me of looks like a little bathtub, an old style bathtub. And then the newer model, which looked a little bit more like a Chevrolet or something like that, kind of a small size. But this is the Corvair. Oop, trying to get away from it here. Sorry about the lighting and the positioning here. Trying to get around a little bit, but this is a Corvair 700. Maybe a little bit less desirable, I guess you could say, would be the four-door, but that actually makes it nice for me. I can carry some of my friends and stuff in it, and the Queen gets to use it for her extra work. You'll notice that this trim is missing here, right here, but it's really not missing. It's actually in the trunk. I'd open it up and show it to you, but there's not really a whole lot to see there. The hubcaps are all the way around. And this is not the original color of paint, although from what I understand, the color is kind of a bronze or something close to this, but the top was not white. Anyway, we'll get maybe that information before we put this out. We'll see what we can figure out the original color was. So let's take a look inside here. Not bad, I don't think, anyway. I always love these dashes. Maybe not as sporty, but they're kind of interesting. I like the stereo, although I do not like what somebody's done with the vents. They've used the vents for speaker recessions to put the speakers in there. Anyway, see the door panels, which will need a little bit of work on them. The seat covers are actually in pretty good shape. There we are. Carpet, I think this is actually, or something like original carpet. I remember a friend of mine in grade school having a Corvair that had carpet like this. It's kind of a Berber carpet. What I really like is up here. Somebody did a custom, like it's not even sheepskin, it's kind of fur up there. And the fuzzy dice. All in all, this will make a good car for an addition to our family, and for, like I said, the Queen to use for extra work. But I have to thank a good friend of mine, Dennis, you know who you are. A good friend of mine gave me a deal that I couldn't walk away from, that I couldn't pass up, on the idea that he wanted somebody to do something with it, and I'm more than happy to do that. So some of these things that you may not know, if you aren't a Corvair person. Let's see if I can figure it. There it is. So Corvairs used a flat 6 engine, and while a lot of the internal components are just standard Chevy parts, nothing that we would look at. Even the carburetor, I think, is basically a standard Chevy one barrel, but there's two of them, one for each side. There's the fuel pump, kind of a little bit different looking. Alternator, oil filter, distributor, and coil. And they are air cooled, just like a, well, not just like, but kind of like a Volkswagen, a Volkswagen Beetle of the same era. And one thing you'll notice if you've been looking here is that the belt makes a 90-degree turn as it goes down around the crankshaft and back up an idler pulley and the alternator, and then around the fan. Those are quite pleasant. Once you turn a belt on there, it flips over. You can't ever seem to make it work. Trying to put this on the car dolly to get it home, we were not able to get it started. And from the symptoms that I was told, we both agreed that it is most likely the fuel pump is just full of rust and junk, as they always do, and we could not get fuel to the engine. But we're going to give it a try with a little bit of starting fluid right down the center here. You'll see when we get there. The center, there's a common link between the air cleaners. We're going to spray a little bit down there and see if we can get it started. We're going to spray probably a little more than we normally would down here to the center, because it's going to be sitting in here and just evaporating. We're going to have to pull it both into both air cleaners. So let's give it a try here. All right, well, so that was proof of concept. It did fire. I don't really want to continue running it on starting fluid, but we're going to get a little full fuel cell that I have hooked up and see if we can make it run a little bit tonight. What we have here is a 5-gallon fuel cell. It is, you can see it's kind of curly cued underneath itself to kind of keep away from the fan. Goes through a filter into the inlet to the pump, and then the pump has, there it is, a little T there. It goes to each carburetor. So we're going to force feed it a little bit to the starting fluid still to see if we can get it going. And in fact, you can see a little bit of gas in the, oop, wow, I can already see a little bit of gas dripping off there. This may not be a good idea. All right, we're gonna very quickly, before we have a lake of gas down here, it has slowed down a little bit, but we're gonna see if we can get it to do anything. We've got some lifter clatter, but that's kind of to be expected.